Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, I'd like to welcome you all to our session of Bhakti Shastri, Bhagavad-Gita chapter 10. So please help me also. Instead of searching for who is going to read, maybe one of you can help me to identify who will be helping to read today. So this chapter we're supposed to finish today, but we'll see how we proceed. First of all, I just want to refresh from last week to today where we are heading. So you all are on the same boat. Sometime each acharya gives a different view on the same subject. And it's wonderful if we can take their spectacles and look what exactly they are trying to give, if we can get it. So like one acharya says, some people feel apprehensive about studying Bhagavad-Gita. It contains a lot of complicated philosophy. I mean, some of you may agree with this, some of you may not agree, but do not judge. Because it's Acharya's opinion, we should take it and see that what they are, what that particular Acharya is trying to give. Baladev Vidyabhushan, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, many commentary, Bhakti Vinod Thakur commentary. Of course, Srila Prabhupada is our main captain. Yes, The Gita is profoundly philosophical book. Its analysis of various levels of yoga practice, where bhakti yogi, can be intellectually demanding, isn't? Still, its essence is not philosophical technical. I hope you understand that. Still, its essence is not philosophical technicality, but loving reciprocity. Loving reciprocity. It is very important to remember that. Through all its philosophy, Krishna reveals his love for Arjuna, and through Arjuna for all of us. And this is what last week, few days we were explaining, and some of you actually repeated. So I appreciate that you are carrying that. And Lord Krishna is inviting, he invites reciprocal love from all of us, from each of you, from each of us. And this essential intention animates the whole Bhagavad-Gita. It starts, middle, and end. Bhagavan Sambandha Bhakti Avidehaya Prema Prayojan Vedetina Vastukaya. The purpose of Krishna's speaking Bhagavad-Gita through Arjuna is that he wants to revive our relationship. Bhagavan Sambandha Bhakti Avideya. And what you can feel relevant to you, and you take some action called sadhana, and what the result you're going to get at the end, prayojan. What are you going to experience? So I hope everybody, sometimes I speak a little heavy, so please forgive me. That's how I was born, I guess. Some defects, I speak a little boldly. So I hope you understand that the Gita is profoundly philosophical book. Its analysis of various levels of yoga practice can be intellectually demanding. Still, its essence is not philosophically technicality, but loving reciprocity. So with that note, I would like to ask all of you to fold your hand and let's evoke the mercy, Srila Prabhupada and all the Guru Parampara, all the way to Sri Radha and Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Panchatattva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Astaprayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Mukam Karati Vachalam Pango Langayate Girim Jatkripa Tamaham Bande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Brahmananda Madhavam. Somebody just woke up. You are a little late. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva, we have done long time back. Thank you. At least you're keeping track. I would request all the Matajis, mothers and Prabhus, please collect some flower in your mental body, mental paraphernalia, and join to the prayers. While we are going, each personality in Guru Parampara, offer a flower at their feet, pay obeisances while we are chanting together, and then go to the next personality. Okay, please do this meditation, is very important. Om Ajnanatirandhasya Ghenanjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmaye Sri Guruve Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Pada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanikam Am Sajivam Sadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakha Nitamscha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunnavadi Paschata Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Ti Namine Sri Varshavanavi Devi Daitaya Kripadaya Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namo Adhurja Ujjala Premadha Sri Rupanuga Bhaktida Sri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namastute Namaste Gauravani Sri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dhantarine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagamurtaye Vipralambar Sambodhe Padambujayate Namo Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaurasak Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaurasakti Sarupaya Rupanuga Parayate Gauravirbhava Bhumesta Nirdesta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Sri Jagannatha Te Namo Pancha Kalpa Taruvescha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebho Vaishnavebho Namo 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 Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tishe Namo Panchatatmatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavotara Bhaktaksham Namami Bhakta Saktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Indaye Tulasi Devaye Priyaye Kesavasya Cha Vishnu Bhakti Pade Devi Sattavate Namo Namam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vindam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, thank you for joining. So I would like one volunteer who can organize, who is going to read.
I can do that, Prabhuji.
Okay. Then you can send a private text to somebody, whoever did not read or something, you can just figure it out. Please ask them one by one, okay? So I need at least from 12 to 18, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, seven devotee. Please be equal as best possible, both mothers and Prabhus, they're both important. So I just want to refresh that Krishna in his ecstasy describing this chapter. It is not a verbalization between, in his ecstasy, you ever expect a particular incident happen, cannot control yourself, express? Just imagine in a spiritual estimation that Krishna is so happy with Arjuna now that out of ecstasy he is explaining about his own opulence. And he is just like a mother talking to the child about the future toy store, visiting toy store. And she's showing all the money she has to buy the toys for the child. How exciting is that? It's an opulence. The money is, the child is looking for the money or the toys. Which one? Both. Both, because if there is no money, there is no toys. So Arjuna, Krishna is expressing about his opulence, but his relationship with Arjuna is very sweet, very madhurja, very friend, non-envious. Krishna wants us to become his family member, but we have to fall in love, not only biodata, profile. He's talking about exactly who he is. In this chapter and next chapter, he's going to elaborate out of ecstasy. So as we read first 1 to 7, that Krishna demonstrate that who did not know him or who does not know him. Anyone knows who are the people knows Krishna or showing interest? Who has interest to know about Krishna? Those who are devotee, reading Bhagavad-Gita. And those who are not practicing Krishna consciousness, they are not interested. So Krishna says he is not going to reveal Bhagavad-Gita, he is not going to reveal his opulence. Try to position yourself in that. Krishna is not going to reveal those who are not showing interest. You all have come. Why have you come? Because you have interest. So Krishna is going to reveal to you. You can hear me, you can read, but still you have to see in your heart how you relating that Krishna is entering in your heart. This is very good meditative, this chapter. Then 8 to 11, we read last Saturday, the 4 most important sloka that you all have to memorize. And then today we're going to start from 12 to 18, where Arjuna is going to begin his beautiful journey about when you see somebody why do we appreciate or grateful to our Guru, Prabhupada? Why? Why are we grateful? Because on my own estimation, my own calculation, whatever the achievement I can get in my life, Prabhupada can give us millions times more than what I can get on my own. If you work in a place where you get $10 an hour, if somebody comes and tells you that I'll give you $100 an hour, same job in my place, will you be a little bit thankful to that person? Yes or no? Can somebody say?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Taking that long, you have to be very quick. Now, if someone comes and say, I want to give you $1,000 an hour for the same job you were getting $10 before, how do you feel to that person?
Grateful.
Grateful. You want to remain grateful. This is the position of Prabhupada. Think, whatever happiness we could get anywhere, he has come to give million times more happiness for our own existence. Krishna made Arjuna feel like this, and Krishna wants to give us that. We should be ready to receive this and be thankful, grateful. With that attitude, grateful attitude, you can perceive Bhagavad-Gita, this chapter, faster. And if you don't pay attention, if you don't have a mentality or great attitude to be appreciative, you'll miss it. I hope nobody misses it. Because in the beginning, as I said, that Bhagavad-Gita's conclusion takes its affectionate essence to a crescendo. Krishna expresses his love by acknowledging each of us, Arjuna's free will. Try to understand this. You all have a free will. And Krishna expresses his love by acknowledging each of your, Arjuna's, free will, highlighting the most confidential knowledge to help him or help us free will judiciously. Reiterating that he loves Arjuna dearly and wants his well-being, assuring him protection from all sinful reactions, complementing this revelation of love, Krishna extends an invitation to love. Offer your mind, offer your heart, worship. We read in the last Saturday and also a few days before, the most important verse in 9th chapter also, that Krishna says that you homage to me, surrender to me, and Arjuna accept that invitation. Can you all accept also that invitation? By his loving readiness to do Krishna's will, are you ready to do what Krishna wants you to do? A question you should ask yourself right now. And if you don't have to tell me, if you think you are ready to do what Krishna wants you to do, you are in that position of Arjuna, 1873, then whole Bhagavad Gita will be revealed. And it will stay, retain there in your heart. So what is the conclusion? When we focus on the love that the Gita reveals and inspires, Gita study will no longer seem intellectually intimidating, but will become spiritually enlivening. I hope everybody got some. I'm trying to express. And then now we are going to start 12 to 13. Who is starting? Ram Sam Prabhu?
Allah Prabhu will start the first one. 12.
Okay, Hare Krishna. 12 and 13. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shashwatam Divyam, Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum, Ahustya Ahustva mrashayah sarve devarshir naradas sito devalo vyasah swayam chaiva bravishime. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asit, Devala, and Vyas confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. In these two verses, the Supreme Lord gives a chance to the Mayavadi philosophers. For here it is clear that the Supreme is different from the individual souls. Arjun, after hearing the essential 4 verses of Bhagavad-Gita in this chapter, became completely free from all doubts and accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He at once boldly declares, you are Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And previously Krishna stated that he is the originator of everything and everyone. Every demigod and every human being is dependent on him. Men and demigods, out of ignorance, think that they are absolutely and independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That ignorance is removed perfectly by the discharge of the devotional service. This has already been explained in the previous verse by Lord. Now, by his grace, Arjuna is accepting him as the supreme truth in concordance with Vedic injunction. It is not that because Krishna is Arjuna's intimate friend, Arjuna is flattering him by calling him the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth. Whatever Arjuna says in these 2 verses is confirmed by Vedic truth. Vedic injunctions affirm that only one who takes to devotional service to the Supreme Lord can understand him, whereas others cannot. Each and every word of this verse spoken by Arjuna is confirmed by Vedic injunctions. In the Kena Upanishad, it is stated that the Supreme Brahman is the rest of everything, is the rest for everything. And Krishna has already explained that everything is resting on him. The Mundak Upanishad confirms that the Supreme Lord in whom everything is resting can be realized only by those who engage constantly in the thinking of him. This constant thinking of Krishna is smarana, one of the method of devotional service. It is only by the devotional service to Krishna that one can understand him, his position, and get rid of the material body. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is accepted as the purest of the pure. One who understands that Krishna is the purest of pure can become purified from all sinful activities. One cannot be disinfected from the sinful activities unless he surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. Arjuna's acceptance of Krishna as the Supreme Pure complies with the injunctions of Vedic literature. This is also confirmed by great personalities, of whom Narada is the chief. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one should always meditate upon him and enjoy one's transcendental relationship with him. He is the supreme existence. He is free from bodily needs, birth and death. Not only does Arjuna confirm this, but all the Vedic literatures, the Puranas, the histories, in all Vedic literature, Krishna is thus described, and the Supreme Lord himself also says in 4th chapter, although I am unborn, I appear on this earth to establish religious principles. He is the supreme origin. He has no cause, for he is the cause of all causes, and everything is emanating from him. This perfect knowledge can be had by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Here Arjuna expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. If we want to understand Bhagavad-Gita, we should accept the statement in these 2 verses. This is called the Parampara system, acceptance of disciplic succession. Unless one is in the disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad-Gita. It is not possible by so-called academic education. Unfortunately, those proud of their academic education, despite so much evidence of Vedic literature, stick to their obstinate convictions that Krishna is an ordinary person. Hare Krishna.
Very good. This is wonderful. What so far Krishna expressed is confidential knowledge. Now, when you tell about your secret of life to your best friend, and that friend shows curiosity, oh, really? Tell me about it. How do you feel? You feel more excited to say it. Similarly, what Arjuna responding, see the beautiful response Arjuna gave so far what Krishna revealed. So it will ignite another fire in Krishna's heart to express more secret. So here we see in this verse, these two verses, very nice. Symbiotic relationship between knowledge and devotion. This 10.8, if we recall that we read last Saturday, describes knowledge leads to devotion. Iti matta bhajante mam, Buddha bhava samannita. We discussed about that. Iti matta bhajanti mam, Buddha bhava samannita. One who understands that Krishna is the source of everything, ultimate reality, such person acquires knowledge and becomes wholehearted devoted to me. So here Krishna is telling that knowledge will lead to devotion. Then last Saturday also we read bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi jogam tam, and we discussed that just to catch up that point, that devotion will give knowledge. So knowledge will lead to devotion, or devotion will give you knowledge. Which one? You think? This is a beautiful. Is the knowledge will lead to devotion, or devotion will give knowledge? So how to understand this? Is everybody with me? I hope. Okay. Devotion to knowledge and knowledge to devotion. So what comes first? There has to be some basic understanding about Krishna. Then we render service, isn't it? You meet the devotee, or they give you a book, or you come to temple. Before you start doing something for Krishna, they tell you who Krishna is. Or you like it. He is Supreme Lord. His name is Krishna. He appeared. Some information is given. So some basic understanding about Krishna, then we render service. Knowledge, what it does? It depends. Knowledge increases our affection further. When we serve Krishna with affection, he will give greater knowledge to us. This is the secret. Symbiotic relationship between the two. This knowledge, which Krishna is talking about, both in the beginning and at the end, this has nothing to do with the impersonal Gyan. I hope everybody understands that. This is nothing to do with the impersonal Gyan. Because the first knowledge he talks about is knowledge of Krishna's glories. That is, aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. Then second knowledge he talked about, dadami buddhi jogam tam jena mam upajantite. Krishna is revealing that he will give knowledge. This is also knowledge which enable one to come closer to Sri Krishna. This is Bhakti Anukul Lion. If somebody offer you something, but if somebody offers you with an ugly face or don't like you, how do you feel to eat or drink? I mean, to me, I would not take it probably. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't feel very good. But if somebody is smiling, affectionately say, I made this for you, can you take it? yeah, you feel like, okay, it's more appealing in our day-to-day life. Same thing Krishna is doing. In fact, all the process of yoga depends on bhakti yoga. Try to understand. Bhakti yoga is dealing with the love, loving relation, reciprocal. So right now, also while studying Bhagavad-Gita, we are not following process of Gyan yoga, but it is Shravana, Smarana, Vishnu. It is bhakti, Navavida bhakti. So our purpose is Krishna. And our process is Krishna. And source is also Krishna. Everybody agree? So far you see that? Our purpose is Krishna, process is Krishna, source is also Krishna. Jnana of impersonal Brahman is pratikul bhav. Is not favorable, impersonal knowledge. But Gyan, knowledge of Bhagavan, is favorable to bhakti. I hope everybody remember that. This is important. In order to do bhakti, you have to have some sentiment developed for the Lord. And more we understand, more knowledge we have, not the impersonal concept, but the personal concept. Now let's compare to this few minutes. Arjuna is saying Param Brahma, you are the Supreme Brahman. First word today, Kaivalla Prabhu read, what did he say? Param Brahma, Param Dhama. Who said that? Arjuna. Mayavadi and impersonalist are very fond of speaking Vedic morphism, Aham Brahmasmi. You remember fourth thing I mentioned when beginning of this Bhakti Shastri, what the impersonalist conception is, what the impersonalists think. First thing they think, Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. Hey, who are you? Tat Tamasi, you are Brahman. What about the world? Everybody else? Sarvam Kalvidam Brahman, everything is Brahman. Are Baba, I am Brahman, you Brahman, everything is Brahman. This is Mayavadi, impersonalists are very fond of speaking Vedic morphism, which is true. We are not denying, we are not saying they are lying. We are Brahman. This is considered Mahabhakya of Upanishad from Shankaracharya. But it is not Aham Param Brahma. It is simply Aham Brahmasmi. Beyond Aham Brahma Asmi, there is a higher reality. That is reality of Krishna. Who is Param Brahma? You see how Arjuna started today? That sloka, first word. Who is Param Brahma? Is he talking about the impersonal Brahman, or in front of him the Supreme Lord is standing? The personal form, Krishna standing right in front. Beyond,
Can I ask a question?
I say, I'll be back, hold on. Just 1 second. I say I am Indian. Or, so, if one of you, I don't know, you are American or Indian, because in the Zoom it's difficult to know who is who. But in Brahma, also there is a diversity or levels amidst unity. So Param Dhamma, the second word Arjuna used, Param Dhamma, you are the supreme abode. In the 9th chapter, Krishna says, Mat Astani Sarva Bhutani. I hope you remember that. Mastani Sarva Bhutani. In the 9th chapter, Krishna said, Mastani Sarva Bhutani. In one sense, everything resides on him. Krishna is maintaining everything in the universe. He is not burdened by that. He is also supreme abode for our heart's aspiration. Okay, before I go to the next line, somebody wanted to say something?
Yeah, Prabhu, just a question, Prabhu, here. Aham Brahmasmi, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Tattvamasi. These are all the words which are coming from Vedas only, no, Prabhu?
Yes.
Yeah. But actually, there are two kinds of explanations. One is the Mayavadic explanation, and then again, of course, coming from the Vaishnava clarification. Is there any specific article or clarification on these quotes, Prabhu, to read more in detail?
Yes, it is there. You can read the commentary on Shikshastakam of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He also expressed that. In Jaiva Dharma also expressed. Jiva Goswami Pad also expressed. In a shorter version, Aham Brahmasmi, we agree, I'm not this body. I'm not the matter. I'm not the material mind. Who am I? I'm spirit. So that Brahmasmi is the spirit. But Brahma, you are there in the beginning of the class. We said Brahman means four conception. I believe everybody remembers, I mentioned that first thing is Purna Brahma. Without Vaishnava understanding is, first we address Param Brahma or Purna Brahma. Purna Brahma spoken by Brahmaji, 10th canto, 14th chapter, text 32 or 33, I forgot, 31 maybe. Oho Vagyam, Nanda Gopa Brajastinam Jatmitrani Paramananda Purna Brahma Sanatana. The Brahmaji says Purna Brahma is this personality who is playing on the courtyard of Nanda Baba. He addressed Purna Brahma. We are not talking about Brahma, we are talking about Purna Brahma. Complete origin Brahma is Krishna. And today also you see in these bars, Arjuna is addressing Krishna as a Param Brahma. It's not Brahma, Param Brahma. He is the origin Supreme Brahman. So that's first. Second is that from Supreme Brahma, unlimited every moment from his toenails, impersonal Nirvishesh Brahman is emanating. You can look at in Chaitanya Charitamrita 1.1.3. Beautiful explanation given. Jat Advaita Brahma Upanishadi Tadupashya Tanubha. From his Rupa Goswami Pad also says, Nikila Sruti Mauli Ratna Mala Duti Nirajita Pada Pankaj Anta. Pada Pankaj Anta, the toenail from where impersonal Brahman is emanating. The philosophy is coming from that. Then the second Brahman is impersonal Brahman. Then by the sweet will of that Lord, a part of impersonal Brahman is covered by three modes of material nature. That is called Mahat Brahma. 14.3, 14.4 in Bhagavad-Gita, we will not cover that, but in future you can see, it says Mahat Jani Mahat Brahma. Tasya Garbham Dadami Aham. So Krishna considered this material nature is also Mahat Brahma. So that's the fourth Brahma. And the fifth Brahma, third Brahma, and then fourth Brahman is Aham Brahmasmi, the conditioned soul, the soul. They don't belong to the matter, but they are actually part of that Brahman. So it's called Aham Brahmasmi or Soham, something like that. They use that. Yes, it is from the Veda. Veda is giving, majority Veda. In the beginning of second chapter, you'll see Krishna says to Arjuna that please get above Veda. Vedasya sarve ahameva Veda. Vedanta vit, Vedanta krichaham. And then Krishna says, Arjuna, this is 15:15, in second chapter, he said, Trigunna Vishaya Veda, Nistrigunna Bhava Arjuna. Arjun, Trigunna Vishaya Veda. Veda is composed of three modes of material nature. There's a Sattvic Puran, Rajasic Puran, Tamasic Puran. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you have to go above this Trigunya Veda. This Bhagavad-Gita above. The Vaishnava Dharma is above. We are not rejecting or disrespecting the Veda, but we take the essence of the Veda. A good example given, if you are hungry, if somebody feeds you the bark or the twigs or the leaves or the branches, will you be satisfied? Anybody can tell me? What you need is the fruit.
Yeah.
So Krishna consciousness, Bhagavatam is the fruit. We are interested in the fruit. Okay. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Yes,
And
Prabhu,
then-
thank you so much.
Similar explanation given, Tattamasi, you are that same, but there's a whole explanation given. We'll see at the end if we have time today. Otherwise, we'll go, we have to read till 18. So they are, the next line, it says, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. You are the purest, Pavitra, greatest. We are contaminated by various sins, but transcendents are not contaminated. See how beautiful. This is Tattamasi. Here you can apply that Krishna is not anything to do with the material modes. Pavitram. I cannot claim that. I have a material desire. I have a material modes affecting me. But Krishna is Pavitram. I cannot claim as a Pavitram. And so because he is Pavitram, from him anything comes is also Pavitram. Then Purusham Shashyatam Dibbam Adidevam Ajo Vibhum. Purusha is a very personality reference, and you are Shashyata. So it is not that from impersonal light some temporary person is manifested. Everybody understanding? You know who believes this? Brahmavadis. Brahmavadis are not offender. They believe the difference between Brahmavadi and Mayavadi. Mayavadis are offender. Why Mayavadis are offender? They do not accept the eternal form of the Lord. Period. So how they explain about Krishna taking the body or Varaha they're taking the body? They say, oh, they're taking the shelter of Maya and it's a Leela. What about there is a real pig eating stool? How do they explain? They say that's also Brahman. Brahman forgot that Brahman because due to the influence of ignorance, and now he is eating stool. This is disgusting. Everybody with me, you understanding why Mayavadis are offender? This is disgusting to think that Brahman, Supreme Brahman, take the form of a pig and eating stool. Nowhere Shastra ever said such things. This is speculation they come up with. That's why if you are not equipped with enough knowledge, don't mess with them. Don't even go near them. The good thing is there are only few percent in this world. 95% Prabhupada said are innocent. Only 5% are those kind of mentality. They talk bad about God, they criticize God, they don't want to accept, they just give whatever they think of God. We're not interested to associate with 5% right now, unless you are a qualified preacher, like Ramanujacharya. There was one Krishnamurti, he was arguing with him for 17 days. Can you imagine? Ramanujacharya could not defeat him in 17 days. Then he went to his own ashram and talking to the deity. Why? You have sent me. He's such a demoniac. He doesn't want to accept your eternal form. He doesn't want to accept our eternal form. He doesn't want to accept our relationship eternal. And this man is so powerful. How can he get this power that he goes on arguing for 17 days? Then Ramanujacharya started crying. It hurts me when somebody criticizes you have no eternal form. It hurts me when they said you don't have eternal abode. Prabhus and mothers, look at your heart right at this moment. Do you know, do you believe 100% there's an eternal abode in the spiritual world? Or do you think like maybe, maybe not? If you think maybe not, that is a contamination of Mayavad. It's within us. Be very careful. Pray for, so it can be removed. It's dangerous, deadly. Seeing is believing is an atheistic idea. Arjuna saw with his eyes. Everybody understand that concept? Why Arjuna was builder? By the eye perception. How did he get out of the illusion? By the ear perception, not eye, ear. What he heard from Krishna. So we are trying to remove and get a good perception or vision by the ear, not the eye. Eye experience is not all alone. Eye experience can delude us. Ear experience in spiritual life, what we hear from the Shruti, from the Veda, on our own inference can be very dangerous. Just a little small note. So we'll end here. Ahustam Rasayo Sarve. All the great sages have said this. Arjuna now reconfirming. And give specific names. See how Arjuna is so kind. He's giving specific names. Now, some of you may not be aware of all those names. You may be aware of Albert Einstein or Newton. But actually, these people are more wiser, more intelligent than Albert Einstein and whoever is more well known in this world. Bill Gates. They're nothing compared to those names, but because those days, we are talking about 5,000 years back when Arjuna was speaking. He gave those names. What are those names? Asito Devalo Vyasa. Those are the great philosopher. Narada Vyasa's name will come again in this chapter when Sri Krishna is describing his vibhutis. Within this chapter, Narada's name again will come. He will say, among the celestial seers, I am Narada. Among great munis, I am Vyas. So both names will come back again. So even Krishna acknowledged this sage's special position. Arjuna is saying, you yourself has also spoken this. Krishna is an absolute truth. When Krishna speaks something while speaking a philosophy, then that has to be taken as absolute authority. Dear mothers and Prabhus, try to grasp that. Scriptural evidence, personal experience, both are important. And when both are combined together, then the conviction becomes very deep. I hope Sanjeev Prabhu is there and he's listening because he had a very nice question other day. How do we get the conviction? So scriptural evidence and personal experience, both are important. And when both are combined together, then the conviction becomes very deep. Because on the basis of scriptures, endless debate can continue. If I ask any one of you, Koiballa Prabhu, how much money can I pay you to make you believe that you never had a mother? How much money can I give you to make you believe that you never had a mother?
It doesn't matter, it may be millions or billions, but I still believe, I will believe. I will not say that mother is there. It's not.
Did you have a DNA test with your mom that she is your mother?
No, I didn't have, but I believe that she's my mom.
Experience, yeah. Very good. I wanted you to speak out like this. Experience that you had. The 4 things Mother does. Mother Yashoda does for Krishna. Same thing they do here. Palan, Poshan, Taran, Bartsan. She has a deep affection, deep care, deep protection, discipline, these things Mother Yashoda does every day to Krishna. And every mother in this world does that. If unfortunate, very rare that somebody would not do it. But that's very rare, almost impossible. So similarly, try to understand that experience and philosophical evidence, scriptural evidence, both are required. Ultimately, authority has to decide what is best for us. The authority is Lord Chaitanya. Experiences in Bhakti Yoga are repeatably, or I would say repeatable, verifiable, in a general sense, predictable. It is not just once in a while experience that does not happen with sentimental kind of experience. So with that note, we're going to start 14. Kamsam Prabhu, who is reading next?
It's me, Prabhu, Satya Prabhu.
Satyadevata Prabhu, please start.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Sarvam etat brutam manye yanmam vadashi keshava nahite bhagavan vyaktim vidur devana dhanava. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Arjuna herein confirms that persons of faithless and demoniac nature cannot understand Krishna. He is not known even by the demigods. So what to speak of the so-called scholars of this modern world? By the grace of the Supreme Lord, Arjuna has understood that the supreme truth is Krishna and that he is the perfect one. One should therefore follow the path of Arjuna. He received the authority of Bhagavad-Gita. As described in the 4th chapter, the parampara system of disciplinic succession for the understanding of the Bhagavad-Gita was lost, and therefore Krishna re-established that disciplinic succession with Arjuna because he considered Arjuna his intimate friend and a great devotee. Therefore, as stated in our introduction to the Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad-Gita should be understood in the parampara system. When the parampara was lost, Arjuna was selected to rejuvenate it. The acceptance by Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated. Then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad-Gita, and then only can we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Beautiful purport Prabhupada gives. So, this is the essential truth of Bhagavad Gita. And Arjuna is making it clear in this verse. I love that. Sarvam etad ritam manne. I accept all what you have told. Not what I like, I take it. What I don't like, I don't take it. Because Arjuna says, everything, ritam manne, etad sarvam, sarvam. Everything that Krishna says, I accept. Janmam badasi Keshava. Mam badasi. What you have spoken to me, Keshava, I accept all. Nahite Bhagavan Bhaktim. Oh, absolute truth, what you have revealed to me. Vidur Deva no Danava. Beautiful. This is not even easy for God or demons to understand. So each of you, please look at yourself in the Zoom or wherever you are and thank to yourself that at least you are willing to come by Krishna's mercy. This is wonderful. There are two different points in this first. Oh Lord, I accept what you say. And can you say that to Krishna? Try to repeat that to Krishna. My Lord, I accept what you say. And next one, I also acknowledge that it is not easy to understand you. Can you see both are there in this sloka, today's sloka? I mean, right, this sloka. That I accept what you are saying, I also acknowledge that it is not easy to understand. It sounds like contradictory, but not contradictory. If you love Krishna, you will accept. You have some envious or something contaminated, heavy from this world, enviousness especially. You may say, well, not everything I can accept. So when we accept Krishna, it is not that we have to understand everything what Krishna has said. There will be something which we will not be able to understand. So rather than saying it is a false, we suspend the judgment about it. Certain things requires purification in us to understand them. So we suspend judgment about them. I accept what you said, but even demigods cannot understand it. Just think about it. Srila Prabhupada said, this is the way Bhagavad-Gita has to be understood, not half-hand logic. You know half-hand logic? The eggs comes out from the backside, so you like the part of the hand that produce the egg, but the first part you have to feed so much food, you don't like it. That's a half-hand logic. This is not good. I remember in Alachua even, I used to go to some churches sometime just to curious, talking and give them Bhagavad-Gita. But in a good mood, not like challenging or anything. So I met this person, it was wonderful. He says, I accept Jesus, but I'm not part of any church. So when it was asked, why then the person said no church goes with my understanding of Jesus? Are you getting it? So it is like saying, I'm a patient, but I'm not taking the treatment. Why? Because I did not find any doctor who agrees with my diagnosis. Can you relate that? So whether doctor is supposed to agree with patient diagnosis or vice versa. Now it may happen that there are many organizations which is not teaching with the proper teachings. And people has to be careful about it. But ultimately, the patient has to agree with the doctor, not other way. Am I right? Okay. Generally, you say the horse has come, generally you say horse has to come before the carriage, not carriage before horse. Isn't? How can we know Gita's meaning? You know, end of the Gita, Krishna says 1866, this is one sloka Prabhupada repeated the most, at least according to my research. I was putting on a search engine and I went many, many times just to see. That's the verse, 1866. This is clear instruction given. Yes, there are many paths talked, but this is the conclusion. So a teacher can teach student at various level, but at the end, he teaches the conclusion. A teacher says, whatever I taught, forget. And this is what I wanted you to do. Bhagavad-Gita culminate. Now you all are listening Bhagavad-Gita, you are feeling the needs of Bhagavad-Gita, you're taking some of the point in your heart, you are not clear about some points, but ultimately, end of the Bhakti Shastri, if you're not feeling to surrender, I have wasted time, you have wasted time. So think very deeply. Surrender is ultimately, if 1-year-old child tells the mother, I want my freedom, I don't care you. Mother Shyama Swarupa Devidasi. Can I ask you a question, Mata? Is that okay for the child? Can this child can have freedom?
No, Prabhuji, no.
So will you tell the child he's intelligent or stupid?
He is not intelligent.
Thank you. You are being more polite. You didn't say stupid, but I just said it. So like this, we have to understand our position versus Krishna. There is no other alternative we can ever get out of Maya without Krishna. So surrender is must. The whole conception of studying thoroughly to come to that point. So I'll end here. Check the action of the original student, 1872. Can one person open the Bhagavad-Gita if you have? I had here also. Can go. Anyway, he works in the mood of devotion. Look at Mahabharata, what happened afterwards. So essentially, if we let Bhagavad-Gita speak itself, it is very clear that Krishna is the absolute truth and devotional service to him is the best means to achieve that. Do you know who first heard Bhagavad-Gita from Sanjay? Dhritarashtra. And unfortunately, he did not become devotee. Why Dhritarashtra did not become devotee, but Sanjaya, hearing by the mercy of his guru, he became completely in devotional mood. He started crying, shivering his body. What was the missing point between Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra? Both heard Bhagavad Gita. Mother Shyamala Gopika, Devidasi. Can you tell me what was the difference between these two personalities? Both heard Bhagavad Gita. Surrender. Very good. Thank you. Wonderful answer. Surrender. So my purpose is that I'm not pressuring you to surrender or anything. Who am I? I'm convincing. I'm talking to my own mind. I must surrender. This is the bottom line. But we have to hear whole Bhagavad Gita to come to that conclusion. Okay, text 15. Who is reading?
Aditilata Mataji is going to read. Right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
before that, one quick question. Shall I ask or at the end I will ask?
You can ask at the end if it is okay. I want to finish all the way up to 18. Is that okay?
Yeah, that is
Okay.
okay, Prabhuji. Yeah. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Swayam evatmanatmanam vetha tvam purushottama bhuta bhavana bhutesha deva deva jagatpate. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Purport. The Supreme Lord Krishna can be known by persons who are in a relationship with him through the discharge of devotional service like Arjuna and his followers. Persons of demoniac or atheistic mentality cannot know Krishna. Mental speculation that leads one away from the Supreme Lord is a serious sin, and one who does not know Krishna should not try to comment on Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the statement of Krishna, and since it is the science of Krishna, it should be understood from Krishna as Arjuna understood it. It should not be received from atheistic persons, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 11. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yaj jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti sabdayate. The supreme truth is realized in three aspects: as impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and at last as the supreme personality of Godhead. So, at the last stage of understanding the absolute truth, one comes to the supreme personality of Godhead. A common man, or even a liberated man who has realized impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma, may not understand God's personality. Such men, therefore, may endeavor to understand the Supreme Person from the verses of Bhagavad Gita, which have been spoken by this person, Krishna. Sometimes the impersonalists accept Krishna as Bhagavan, or they accept his authority. Yet, many liberated persons cannot understand Krishna as Purushottama, the Supreme Person. Therefore, Arjuna addresses him as Purushottama. Yet one still may not understand that Krishna is the father of all living entities. Therefore, Arjuna addresses him as Bhuta Bhavana. And if one comes to know him as the father of all the living entities, still one may not know him as the supreme controller. Therefore, he is addressed here as Bhutesha, the supreme controller of everyone. And even if one knows Krishna as the supreme controller of everyone, and even if one knows Krishna as the supreme controller of all living entities, still one may not know that he is the origin of all the demigods. Therefore, he is addressed herein as Deva, the worshipful god of all demigods. And even if one knows him as the worshipful gods of all demigods, one may not know that he is the supreme proprietor of everything. Therefore, he is addressed as Jagatpati. Thus, the truth about Krishna is established in this verse by the realization of Arjuna, and we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna as he is. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Very good. This is beautiful. Each verse is wonderful. So verse begins with Shayam Evatmana Eva Atmana Atmanam. You alone know your glories. If you ask yourself, who know you the best? Who can know you the best? You. You know the best about you. Other people has some perception, some view, but they calculated according to their way of calculating. You have given them impression. The object does not dictate what the object is. Everybody perceive a person or thing according to our own impression from previous storage and the process, calculative process that we use. Who you are, we can tell what I think you are, but may not be truth. So here, 5 epithets are used by Arjuna to glorify Krishna. First, he says, Purushottam. Then he says, Bhuto Bhavana. You are the source of all living being, which Krishna himself has talked in Bhagavad-Gita several times. Bhuteshu, you are the controller of all living beings. Then he says, Deva Deva, you are the God of all gods. Then he says, Jagatpati, master of all the universe. So you are the best among all persons. Not only best among all persons, actually you are the source of all persons. Not just source of all persons, but actually controller of all persons. There may be many controllers who have power to control the various gods, but you are the God of all gods. Even the gods worship you, seek your help. So you are the Deva Deva. Then you are Jagatpati. You are the master of the whole universe, maintainer of the whole universe. Beautiful, this verse. Next, text 16. Who is reading, Prabhu?
Jai Radha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
वक्तुम् अर्हसि अशेषेण दिव्या हि आत्मविभूतयः याभिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकान् इमां त्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठसि. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. Purport. In this verse, it appears that Arjuna is already satisfied with his understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. By Krishna's grace, Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence, and knowledge, and whatever else a person may have. And through all these agencies, he has understood Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For him, there is no doubt. Yet, he is asking Krishna to explain his all-pervading nature. People in general and the impersonalists in particular concern themselves mainly with the all-pervading nature of the Supreme. So Arjuna is asking Krishna how he exists in his all-pervading aspect through his different energies. One should know that this is being asked by Arjuna on behalf of the common people. Hare Krishna.
Beautiful. Thank you. Now, this is something for a private talk to all of us, that when you go to God, when you go to Krishna, don't just say, you fold your hands, say, Hare Krishna, my Lord, I need help. This is not a good way to approach. I mentioned that once, maybe, I think. But if you look at in Bhagavad-Gita, every time Arjuna has a question, how he present the question. When he wants Krishna to help him to remove the doubts, this is an art. An art we can learn. First, when you come to your Guru or Prabhupada or Krishna, first you emphasize what you have understood about their position, who they are. Glorify what they have done, how they have helped. That will evoke your grateful attitude. You can draw the attention of them. Even you meet a good sannyasi, sincere devotee, speak something like that. It's an art how you approach senior, what to talk about Krishna. I used to do that. I'm guilty also that. When I need help, I would say, oh Krishna, I need help. This, Hare Baba, Krishna is not your servant. You're trying to make Krishna as a servant. Why don't you glorify Krishna? First you glorify Krishna. State what is fact. How he is merciful. Then you appeal. Now this, from this text, you will see Krishna is asking a question, but how he beautifully began with Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, his realization who Krishna is. He glorified Krishna, then he's asking. This is a proper, is repeating again in Bhagavad-Gita. So it's a good habit that when you approach Krishna or holy name, don't just take the Japamala and say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Be grateful. Without Guru, without Prabhupada, don't chant. First you invoke the mercy. Thank you, Prabhupada, for allowing me to serve. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Agre Guru Puja, Pare Krishna Pujan. Gurudev.
We can't hear you, Prabhuji.
We can't hear you, Prabhuji.
You cannot hear me?
Now
What's
it's
wrong with-
okay.
Now
Yeah,
we
now
can.
it's okay. Right.
We can
Sorry,
hear him.
I have some bold, sometimes bad way of talking. I'm a little bold sometimes, so it's gives me a little pushback probably. It's not the Zoom, I think it's my voice. So when you approach the holy name or Krishna, first bring yourself as a servant. You glorify the holy name. Say, I am your servant. Mahaprabhu did not just chant. What did Mahaprabhu do? Naham Borni, Nacha Grihapati, Nacha Banas. Mahaprabhu stated, I am not belong to Varnashram, I am not this body. Who are you? Kintu Pradon Nikhilo Paramananda Purna Amritabde Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayo Dasa Dasanu Dasa. Mahaprabhu did not just take the Japamala and chanted. No. He submit himself as a servant of the servant. Then Mahaprabhu chanting, crying. Why? Because Lord is manifesting. It's a process. When you go to temple or deity or Prabhupada, be little process that Arjuna is depicting in Bhagavad-Gita. Glorify those personality. Prabhupada, you have come in my life. I appreciate so much. I would have no clue about Krishna or even purpose of my life if I did not come in contact with Krishna consciousness. Thank you for being so merciful to me. You are such a wonderful, then give some glorification, what he did, something. And then you can say, I am going through some tough time. Can you help me, my Lord? Can you help me, Prabhupada? That is proper. This is an art. And you'll see the result comes. I really believe it because I'm seeing in my life. I went through tough time in my life too. I had a lust, greed, anger, madness, all the bad quality. I was envious guys too. I probably still am I? But some or other, I see that their mercy is diminishing those bad qualities. But we have to come in a proper way. So Arjuna here, he says, Bhaktum arhashi. Speak, my Lord, Asheshena, in detail. Dibbahi Atma Vibhutaya, divine. Indeed, you are indeed are your own glories. Who knows Krishna more than Krishna? It's Krishna. Javi Vibhuta Lokan, Imam Stam Payappa Tishtahashi. By your opulence, you have pervaded the whole existence. Please speak about them, Asheshena, in details. So from here onward, Arjuna has accepted Krishna's conclusion. And Arjuna has become enlightened but Arjuna is thinking about common people like us, the Zoom. Arjuna knew 5,000 years back that through the Zoom we'll have a discussion. And he's think, how will they understand Krishna's glory? People can look around and keep connection with Krishna, which will enable their Krishna consciousness. So 17 is the beginning of that. Who is reading, Prabhu?
Laksha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Guruji. कथं विद्यामहं योगिं त्वां सदा परिचिन्तयन् केषु केषु च भावेषु चिन्तयोऽसि भगवन्मया. Translation: O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you, and how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? Purport: as it is stated in the previous chapter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is covered by his Yogamaya. Only surrendered souls and devotees can see him. Now, Arjuna is convinced that his friend Krishna is the Supreme Godhead, but he wants to know the general process by which the all-pervading Lord can be understood by the common man. Common men, including the demons and atheists, cannot know Krishna because he is guarded by his Yogamaya energy. Again, these questions are asked by Arjuna for their benefit. The superior devotee is concerned not only for his own understanding but for the understanding of all mankind. So Arjuna, out of his misery, because he is a Vaishnava, a devotee, is opening for the common man the understanding of all pervasiveness of the Supreme Lord. He addresses Krishna specifically as Yogin because Sri Krishna is the master of the Yog Maya energy, by which he is covered and uncovered to the common man. The common man who has no love for Krishna cannot always think of Krishna. Therefore, he has to think materially. Arjuna is considering the mode of thinking of the materialistic persons of this world. The words Keshu Keshu cha Bhaveshu refer to the material nature. The word Bhav means physical things. Because materialists cannot understand Krishna spiritually, they are advised to concentrate the mind on physical things and try to see how Krishna is manifested by physical representations.
Very good. Katham Viddam Aham Jogims. Beautiful beginning. Jogim is used as Krishna is connected with everything. Some places he's called Yogeshwara also. End of Bhagavad-Gita, I'm sure you are aware of it. Tam sada parichintayan. How can I always think about you? What does that mean? Means while in this material world, you follow? When Arjuna is saying, how am I going to think about you? He's on behalf of us, he's asking, in the material world where opposed to Krishna or Krishna consciousness, how am I going to think? See how Arjuna is so kind. By the way, if any one of you meet Arjuna face to face, thank him. Say thank you for asking all this question on behalf of us. Otherwise, you would have no clue what we would do. You will like it because he did that favor. Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu bhaveshu. In material nature. Chinto shi Bhagavan maya. Oh Bhagavan, how can, hey Krishna, how can I, while in this material manifestation, think of you? Arjuna's question is specific over here. Generally, our journey is from, who knows, where we are going, from where? From matter. This body is a matter. The mind is matter. We have a subtle matter, gross matter. So our journey is from where, Gautam Prabhu? From matter to spirit.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Everybody is with me? Our journey in this Krishna consciousness from matter to spirit is in our own observation through this world. This is a wonderful. Recollection is a function of connection. Try to remember that. Recollection is a function of connection. To remember some fact, say the year of America's independence, 4th of July. I hope everybody knows, I don't know why I'm so affected by 4th of July, not because I'm an American citizen, because Bhakti Charu Maharaj, left this world. It was a big day for me. It was a very depressing day also. But again, then joyful mood also that Maharaj left in such a wonderful. We need to connect the date with other dates we already remember. In general, placing a new fact in an existing framework of facts increases our chances of recollecting it as against inserting that fact into our brain without any context. If we wish to grow spiritually and relish higher happiness, Bhagavad-Gita recommends here that we strive to remember Krishna constantly. Remembering him is reasonably possible when we are engaged in direct devotional activities, such as chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, worshipping his deities, reading his glories. But we cannot do these activities constantly as we have many practical obligations, isn't it? How then can we remember him constantly? That is the question. I'm sure it came to your mind, or it came to my mind too. By connecting worldly things with him. Who remembers, I think last week I mentioned, please love Krishna in the world, with the world, through the world. It is necessary. So how do we remember Krishna? How will it be possible to remember? By connecting worldly things with him. And this is this text 17 that we are reading. It's actually Arjuna asks, how can we meditate on Krishna while interacting with the material objects? Children has to go to school, husband has to go to work, wife has to go to work, I have to go to tune up my car. Oh my God, the list goes on and on and on. I have to call my friend, probably going to get upset. I didn't call 3 days. So, so many things. Yes. Essentially, Arjuna is asking that question on our behalf. His question is, how can he connect those objects with Krishna? Like my friend's call, car tune-up, how this will be connecting with Krishna. In response, the remaining chapter, please remember this. That's why I did send to Mother Krishna, Bangsidhari Devidasi.
Yeah, we got it, Prabhuji.
Okay, you all got it. Very good. So this is what Krishna is, Arjuna, essentially his question is how we or he connect those objects with Krishna. In response, the remaining chapter will describe how various attractive things can be seen as manifestation of Krishna, including your mind. Your mind is not allowing you to Krishna. You say, hey, Krishna, you are the mind. What is this? You are going against you. You can challenge. You can talk to Krishna and challenge. Be reciprocal. I did that one time. It was like a funny joke. But then actually I remember Krishna more than mind disappear, I guess. In response, this remaining chapter, 20 to 40, for their attractiveness, reflects a spark of his all attractiveness. When we too learn to connect with Krishna, the objects we regularly interact with, our remembrance of him increases. Undoubtedly, we need to directly remember Krishna by practicing focused bhakti yoga regularly. However, our remembrance of him does not have to be restricted only to this time of direct connection. Through such exclusive bhakti practice, we are meant to gain the conviction, realization that Krishna is all attractive source of whatever objects attracts our attention. I know a lot of children goes to Disneyland. You will find some of these vibhutis in Disneyland. I researched even that. Thereafter, those objects can stimulate our remembrance of him. First, by conscious intention. Please remember that. First, how you remember that? By conscious intention. Then, by subconscious inclination. So how are you going to connect with Krishna? Through those vibhutis that we are going to discuss from now on. First by conscious intention and then by subconscious inclination. And by such integrated, inclusive approach to remembering Krishna, we can ensure that our thoughts increasingly gravitate towards our all pure, sweet Lord Krishna. And with the resulting purification, we'll become perennially absorbed in Krishna, in him. So 18 is the I would say repeating this similar previous few sloka in a one sentence. So somebody is reading the text 18, I believe. Right, Prabhu?
Yeah, Gautam Prabhu, please read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. विस्त्रेणात्मनो योगं विभूतिं च जनार्दना भूय कथत्रक्तिः शृणवतो नास्ति मे अमृतम्. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Janardana, again Please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you. For the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words.
Hmm.
A similar statement was made to Sut Goswami by the rishis of Naimisharanya, headed by Sonak. That statement is Vayam tu na vitpayama uttama shlok vikarme yat charnvatam ras jananam swado swado pade pade. One can never be satiated even though one continuously hears the transcendental pastime of Krishna, who is glorified by excellent prayers. Those who have entered into a transcendental relationship with Krishna relish at every step the descriptions of the pastimes of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam 1:19. Thus, Arjuna is interested in hearing about Krishna and specifically how he remains as the all-pervading Supreme Lord. Now, as far as Amritam, nectar is concerned, any narration or statement concerning Krishna is just like nectar. And this nectar can be perceived by practical experience. Modern stories, fiction, and histories are different from the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, in that one will tire of hearing mundane stories, but one never tires of hearing about Krishna. It is for this reason only that the history of the whole universe is replete with references to the pastimes of the incarnation of Godhead. The Puranas are histories of bygone ages that relate the pastimes of the various incarnations of the Lord. In this way, the reading matter remains forever fresh despite repeated readings. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Very good. My question on this verse will be, how do you know what is the symptom that you are hungry? And when you are hungry, what do you need?
Whenever we are hungry, we need food, and our energy is low, and stomach is demanding something.
Can you apply this in this verse, text 8 you just read? See, this is beautiful. You can look at from different angle. That just imagine you somebody telling you a story and you falling asleep. How exciting that story must be. You making you sleepy. It's not exciting.
Yes, it's not interesting.
But if you're so excited, you say, tell me more. You are like opening your eyes, big eyes like Jagannath, open big eyes when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disappeared. Mahaprabhu challenged Jagannath. Hey, Brajendra Nandan Sam. He didn't see Jagannath. He saw Brajendra Nandan Sam. After 50 years, I'm meeting in a mood of Radharani. Do you still love me? You have 16,108 queens. Do you still love me? A question Mahaprabhu asked. If you still love me, I want to see it. Mahaprabhu disappeared, went in the backside. What happened, Jagannath? Big eyes. Where is she? Where is she? No, I don't care, this 16,108. Don't tell this to Dwarka Queen. I'm assuming you all are Brajavashi, so it's okay. So then Jagannath opened wide eyes and looking where? Then the king sent all these thousands of military, elephant, horses, everybody to pull the chariot. Nothing moves. Jagannath doesn't care to move. He's not interested, Shamsundar. He's looking for, after 50 years meeting in Kurukshetra. It's such a tragedy, you can say, emotional game. Then after a little while, when Mahaprabhu came back, in Radha's mood, Jagannath is so happy. I'm so happy. He just touched with his forehead. He told Mukunda, just pull a little bit. Chariot is going. Thousands of horses, everything could not move. Little forehead touch. So this is a bhava exchange. Same thing here in a wonderful way. Krishna says, oh Janardhan. Why Janardhan? I'm reading Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, that Janardhan, as one who is prayed to Ardhan, Jana Ardhan, by all people, Jana means people, Ardhan, they're praying. And Krishna, Arjuna, how he revealed his heart, showing his eagerness, how he loved Krishna. He said, I am never satiated hearing your nectar. I want more and more and more and more. You'll see the person you are expressing that kind of is completely changed, different person. You know, as a joke, don't take it anybody personally. In America, majority ladies complain the husband don't spend enough time to talk or hear. It's just the opposite of Krishna and Arjuna. So they have a relationship problem in the material world, here in America at least. So I relate with this, that how the bond between the Krishna and Brajavashi, it's just the opposite, because completely given to each other. They're talking 24 hours a day. When Hansudut Maharaj, he passed away, he came to Prabhupada. Well, he is from Germany originally, he's a Germany, but when he came to America, he was taking some drug. Anyway, he went through sometime he could not sleep for 3 days. And his family was worried. He took sleeping pill, even not making him sleepy. So he saw the Hare Krishnas are dancing, chanting, so he came there and they found out that Prabhupada was there. So he said, can I meet you, master? Sure. So they introduced, this is, I forgot his Karmi name now. Oh, Krishna. Anyway, so then Prabhupada said, come here, come here. So he looked at his eyes and he said, you're normal. See, I'm normal. I'm not sleeping. I don't feel sleepy. Prabhupada said, yes, you are normal, because Braja Gopis, they never sleep. He said, who are Braja Gopis? And then Prabhupada, you see, Prabhupada is where he is from. He's talking to the first time a Westerner has no clue about Vrindavan, and he's telling about Braja Gopis. He said, they are the biggest, highest lover of God. And Hansud Maharaj said, really, what does that mean? He said, they never have time to sleep. Oh, so you are doing good, Prabhupada says. Then Prabhupada says, oh, we don't preach that, because then people will be scared, they will not come. We don't preach, but actually in Vrindavan, no Brajagopi ever slept. Do you know any pastime, anybody knows any lila that Brajagopi went to sleep? I know only one pastime at 3:36, which I meditate here in our temple here. The 3:36, Srimati Radharani and Krishna separate. Just a moment before they go to sleep. They bond so much tight to each other. They're going to spend some time. All of a sudden, I get scared of saying that name. It's Kukkuti. Something like this comes. Means it's a morning time, they have to wake up. They just finally about to go to sleep. And if Radharani doesn't let Krishna go, then they say another name, which we should not remember, but we cannot forget either. Jatila. Jatila or Jatila. Oh, it scares Radharani and everything immediately finish. No more sleep. They just went to sleep, could not sleep. At that time, their attraction for each other. Can you imagine how much attraction they have for each other? Does any one of you ever found a story Prabhupada says when he invited somebody to come to see the God? When a young boys challenges, many pastime there. One time, all college student challenges the Western devotees, abusing God, and Prabhupada was nearby. Finally, they could not get answers, so they went to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada always invited them to come to Mangalarti. And I was wondering, why Mangalarti? Why not just tell them to come to temple, see God? Why Mangalarti? Prabhupada said, come at 4 o'clock, you will be able to see God. And I'm thinking like, why Prabhupada say Mangalarti? Prabhupada loved publication, book publication. But the head of the book publication one time Advaita Maharaj was there. He told me personally that story. The head of the publication could not get up for Mangalarti every day. Prabhupada said, then shut down the printing press. It's impossible Prabhupada could ever think, but he said that. He gave so importance to rising early morning because that time Radha Krishna's expression for each other in a pinnacle, highest estimation. That time it is such a jubilant attraction that Lalita Sakhi Devi herself brings to prepare them, bring the incense, make sure no bugs around their body, they're going to go home. That's called Aratik. Then they bring lamp, Lalita Sakhi, make sure there is no bruises or any kiss mark or anything on Krishna's body or Radharani, so they go on the lamp around the body. But the beauty expressed so much so, Lalita Sakhi cannot resist. She expressed herself, come, come, look, look. We never saw Radha Madhav that beautiful. This is called Mangalarti. Extreme beauty expressed. And teachings of Lord Chaitanya Prabhupada says, anyway, that whole explanation is there, beautiful about Mangalarti. I don't want, it's not a class for that, but I just could not resist, I'm sorry. So that time, as they are moving, separating, the whole beautiful scenery take place. And Prabhupada in teachings of Lord Chaitanya says, this incessant attraction for each other is the root cause of anything and everything. If I ask you a question, what is the purpose of your existence? You have to address to that. That attraction. Krishna is eternally supreme attractor. And if we cannot attract by Krishna, we are misfortune. We have misfortune. Our whole journey to draw attention of Lord, the act in such a way that Krishna has an interest for you. Then your journey is over. So Arjuna is expressing here, I never satiated hearing your nectar. This is the love talk. When lover in love with beloved, this is how they talk. This is the mood we should have. Now we're going to start. Well, what is the time now? Oh, I have a 4 minutes. So I don't know. Maybe we can read the rest of the chapter. I send you the whole list. We can go through very quick. It will not take that long. Because 11th chapter is also very important. I want to start 11th chapter also tomorrow. So I need some suggestion from Jai Nayar, Prabhu. What do you think we should do?
I have to leave in 5 minutes, Prabhu. So whatever is the fastest we can do.
We'll just have a question answer. I would request everybody to read that chart that we made. We saw that chart. It's enough explanation. And if we need any clarification, we can discuss that tomorrow before we begin the chapter 11, because chapter 11 is very exciting also to me. Of course, culmination is chapter 12. And if any of this sloka in this chapter, like 34, has a 6th quality of the ladies is Krishna. Krishna is also all devouring death. Mrityu sarvaharascha ham udbhavasya bhavishyatam. Those are important verses. I'm not trying to ignore any of these verses, but I'm saying these are all vibhuti. In a sense, try to see Krishna in all of them. That will, as I mentioned, that we love Krishna with the world. Means try to see Krishna in all those things. Instead of seeing the matter, the spirit, Krishna is already in the matter also. The conclusion is that transcendental is God beyond the nature. Please write it or remember it. Transcendental is God beyond the nature. Immense is God in the nature. Immense is God in the nature. So most of the world religion that will only say God is transcendental. Yes, it's not part of this world. We agree, we're not denying. But the second part they don't know. That immense is God in the nature. And where is this is coming from? This is coming from the last verse after the Vibhuti, the 40. Oh, there's the list, whole list. Very good. Last verse 42. You can read that, and the verse before is also very important. That is the end of 41 of the Vibhuti. What is that? Yes, Jajjat Vibhuti. Can somebody read it? It's very short. It's like 2 minutes will take. The 41. Wait, I'm not jumping. Don't please forgive me. I'm not jumping to 41 from 19 all the way to there. I'm just saying all this in between is Vibhuti, culminates there. So we'll read the 41. Someone please volunteer.
I can read, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yat yat vibhutimad sattvam srimad urjitameva va tat tatyeva gachatvam mama tejosma sambhavam. Know that all opulent, beautiful and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. You want to read the purport also, please?
Yes.
Any glorious or beautiful existence should be understood to be but a fragmental manifestation of Krishna's opulence, whether it be in the spiritual or material world. Anything extraordinarily opulent should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence.
Okay. That verse culminates in a sense of the, so he says, Jajjat Vibhuti Mat Sattam. Wherever one sees Vibhuti, it did not say any particular place even. It says wherever. Even the list that I send you, it's from this sloka between 20 to 40. But beside that also, Krishna did not say only this. He said anywhere, anything. You know, can anyone answer me a question? When you see your own daughter became Miss Universe versus Miss Universe looks like your daughter, what is the difference?
Being Miss Universe is the original, and look-alike is a duplicate. It's not original. It's similar.
Another angle, that is true. Another angle to look at it.
So that is more pleasure giving if we see that our daughter, my daughter is
Very
Miss
good.
Universe.
It's my daughter is more important. Whether Miss Universe or not Miss Universe, that is not related. But first thing is my daughter. It shows a possession. A possession we need with Krishna. He's my Lord. He's my friend. This possession try to develop through this vibhuti. Otherwise you'll miss it. Then what possession acts on? Affection. It's my daughter. If she gets hurt, I'm there immediately to take care of her. Protection, care. Possession, mamata, in Sanskrit called mamata. Mamata has a sneha, raharda. This affection, care, protection goes with that possession. It's my Lord, it's my Father, it's my, this my spiritual relationship with Krishna has a connotation which is a very nourishing to the heart. It's very important. So when you read those vibhutis, make sure you're seeing Krishna, not the shark. Among the aquatic, I'm shark. I'm just giving an example. He said also. But when you look at the shark, it is not the shark we are looking. It is Krishna in the shark. What is in the shark that is Krishna? That is need to be focused. So Srimat Urjitam Evava, Srimat is beautiful. Urjitam Evava, that which is beautiful and glorious. All such things are Mama Teja Angsha Sambhavam. It's a manifesting Mama Teja Angsha, a spark of my effulgence. If we are attracted to only spark, then sparks will soon end. I thought about it. If you really think, the way translation and the word Krishna says, if we are attracted to only spark, are you familiar with the spark? When you see a spark in a festival days or other, it ends, isn't it? So then spark will end. And you are left with what? Nothing. So instead of attracted towards spark, we let the spark reminded us about the whole, then redirect our attraction to the whole. Everybody is with me? Very good. If we are attracted towards spark, we will have infinite longing. So instead of that, we should have longing for the infinite. One place, all attractive things are present. Because deep down in you, if you look at it yourself, we all are innately pleasure seeking. Be honest. Can somebody here in the audience say, no, I'm not pleasure seeker? Then you must see a doctor. You must either sick or something not right. Because Jiva Sukhanyasi, Madhacharya says, pleasure seeking by nature. Pleasure seeking and you are inseparable. Whether it's a material pleasure or spiritual pleasure, that's not what we are talking. We're talking about that nature is always. So in our quest for pleasure, our senses constantly look for enjoyable objects, isn't? Seeking such objects, people travel. America to India or India to America, from the city to another city, one country to another country, continent to another. Yet, pleasure eludes everyone. This is evident from the sobering truth that even celebrities who have the best sense objects are still depressed, addicted. I was in jewelry business before, and I had a whole book of Marilyn Monroe and Elizabeth Taylor. I don't know if you heard the name or not. But anyway, Elizabeth Taylor. And she was like ideal. But then I found that there was a time she was addicted to drug when she had the Hope Diamond. Anyway, it's not a part of the Bhagavad-Gita, but I remember. So when I read Bhagavad-Gita, it's so relevant to the world. Even she became suicidal, even though she was such a famous actress. Why do the sense objects not deliver the promised pleasure? That question should come. Because everything in this world, including most attractive sense object, are all temporary, can at best offer us temporary pleasure. Whereas we all are looking for lasting pleasure. Specifically, the pleasure of lasting love. We all long to love and be loved and do so forever. Such lasting love cannot be found in this material temporary world. Then where can it be found? at the eternal spiritual level of reality. Why I say spiritual level, try to understand, it's not a different location. Means wherever you are, if you can uplift by the mercy and your endeavor to that level, you can have access right now. You don't have to experience spiritual world by dying this world. No, yes, by dying in a sense internally, but by being present in this body, you can have that access. And Srila Prabhupada, 3rd canto, 2nd chapter, he demonstrates this. How this Bhakti Lata crosses this different planet, goes to Vaikuntha, Biraja, then Brahmajyoti, to Vaikuntha, then all the way to Golok. And Prabhupada writes, one can serve the Lord in the spiritual world while in this body, in this material world. Why not we do that? Then our journey. If somebody dies, oh, he or she went back home. How do you know? Why don't you go back home now before you leave this world? Is it possible? Yes. It's only require your intense desire and facility, of course, and the acceptance of process. So Bhagavad-Gita explain, I will end here, that we are eternal spiritual being and parts and parcel of supreme spiritual being Krishna. What does that mean? Man to delight in immortal love for him. In that love is longing for happiness perfectly and perennially fulfilled. Nothing in this world, however good looking, can replace Krishna. I'm going to repeat that word. Please remember that as a negativity to your mind. Tell your mind, nothing in this world can replace my beloved Krishna. That is why we need to redirect our longing from world to him. While focusing on him, if the world distract us, it will do. That's the job of mind. We can remember the eye-opening Bhagavad-Gita inside. What is it? That 41, Mother Shyamala Gopika read. You can memorize this. I memorized that sloka because of that. And I just quote this and I find some attraction immediately, which reminds of Krishna. So whatever is attractive in this world, even human being or anything, Grand Canyon. I remember a couple years back we went there. I have a niece lives in Canada. So we went to see there. It was wonderful. So what that do? Bhakti Yoga practice connects our consciousness with Krishna, giving us glimpses of his supreme sweetness. Enriched with that taste, we can see the world's attractive objects, not as independent source of pleasure, try to remember that, but as a pointer towards their all attractive source. When we thus devote ourselves to Krishna with increased conviction, we rise to spiritual consciousness to relish forever. What? The happiness we are seeking for lifetimes. I'll end here.
Prabhuji,
You remember this?
Prabhuji, I have a question regarding this.
Yes, Prabhu.
So when you say you see shark, which is the among the fish, but what we learned before is everything is Brahman or Krishna. So isn't other fish also Krishna, or you see Mount Meru or every other mountain, everything comes from Krishna, isn't it? So why would only the beautiful things, you know what I'm saying? The entire universe is Krishna. So why is only the most attractive, most beautiful things you say is Krishna?
I'm sorry, somebody is interrupting. Okay. So you are saying that why shark, Krishna pointed out, not the rest of the aquatic, because everything, Krishna is the source of everything. If you remember, other day we discussed, there is two things, Krishna and Krishnas. We have to see everything in these two ways, Krishna and Krishnas. What verse is the shark? What's the word? I think 30 or 31.
No, it doesn't matter.
No, I understand. I just want to, just see
31.
the word because what is.
It's 31, Prabhu.
Okay. So 31 is the word. Makara, Makara, Makara Krita Kundala. We sing this, no? Makara Krita Kundala. His earring is sharp shape. See, shark has a very specific quality. What is the shark has a specific quality? Among the fish, when Krishna say, I am shark, if you study, shark is, I haven't studied too much, but I know a Professor Vargas who wrote the book about blue whale, and I had a long talk with him one time. He passed away, but he wrote that book. I still have that book he gave me because I went to teach Bhakti Yogi in the university. Shark is so swift, so fearsome, they can swiftly catch and consume a person. So the ferocity, power, speed, that is representative of Krishna's opulence. You don't see that with other aquatic.
No, I understand. Everything great is Krishna. I get that. My point is everything else is also Krishna, isn't it?
No, everything is Krishna's.
Okay.
You have to separate Krishna and Krishna's.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Thank you. That's a very nice question, though. I appreciate that, Mr. Nair, because that's like clarify how we should see those each. How many was there? 72 or 71? Let me see. 72 vibhutis. Or at least that's what I found. You may find even more or less, I'm not sure, but this is how I found according to the slokas. So you can look at it and each one, if you have any issue of particular one that how you want to see Krishna in that, you can bring that tomorrow or we'll go to 11th chapter. Is that okay, everybody? Everybody feels okay with that idea?
Yes.
Or you have some other idea?
No, this is fine, Prabhu.
Yes, I think that will be fine, Prabhu.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful.
Prabhuji,
So
I
can
have one question, Prabhuji. So you were saying that when we see Krishna, how we need to pray, you know, even Krishna or any Guru, any Maharaj. So we have to first glorify them, and then we have to, you know, like if we are asking anything from Krishna, then we have to ask first glorification. So when we see any Maharaj, suppose we do not know about that Maharaj much. So how do we glorify that person if we do not know anything? And I have faced this many times, even before, suppose that Maharaj is not giving any lecture, but we are having the association and I want to, you know, ask his blessing. I, you know, find it very awkward. Just go and say, oh, please bless me. Instead, I feel like after lecture, we actually say any Maharaj, when we listen to the lecture, that wonderful lecture, and, you know, we appreciate him, and then we, you know, ask for blessing. Whereas in this case, when we do not know about the Maharaj, then we cannot, you know, glorify him. I mean, how do we approach that? How do we do that?
It's not that difficult. You can pray to Krishna to glorify his devotee. and Krishna will reveal, give you some tips within you. For an example, as you said in your question, that if you see a Maharaj, you can immediately say, Maharaj, it's wonderful to see somebody giving their life, whole life, with their mind, body, and speech. The danda, the sannyas carries, has a 4 stick, 3 stick together and 1 small stick. The soul who is taking vow with this mind, body, and speech, completely dedicated to Krishna's service. Maharaj, this is such a wonderful. You remind of that, what is the emblem of dedication. Maybe you can bless us so we can follow that path, because ultimately surrender is must. Without surrender, nobody will know Krishna. Krishna will never reveal. So something like that. Or you can ask another senior devotee, can you tell me about the glory of that person? Why, how he got sannyas? You know, in ISKCON, they don't give sannyas, at least nowadays, unless they are mature, qualified. It's very tough. It's getting tough, very tough. You have to have a Bhakti Vaibhav to even apply for it now. Means you have to study all Bhagavatam. You have to pass the exam. Early days was easier, but now it's very tough. So they are making qualified candidate. And if somebody really gave up their all material desire to devote themselves, they should be respected. What we are respecting? We are respecting the glories of bhakti, supremacy of bhakti. Then it will, that bhakti will enter in our heart also. So more we glorify devotee. At the same time, I'm also trying to say that sometime in our own family, I don't see sometime that we respect each other very well. You know, children, they are just children. You never know. This, some children could be a big sage, meditated for thousands of years. Krishna sent that soul to be finish the journey in your life as your daughter or son. Wow. And you think, oh, it's just a little child. How much can she? So we have to be very careful. We should respect everyone in that angle.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can I have one feedback, one reflection or 2 reflection, and then we can close?
Yes, Prabhu, I can say something.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay. Kaiballa Prabhu, and then Mother
Yes.
Sojan.
Okay, so after the first shloka was very good, like 12th number shloka was very instructing, you know, how Arjuna accepted Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead after hearing the Chatush Shloki Bhagavatam. And he didn't say that just to flatter the Krishna, but he just said on the basis of the Vedic injunctions and what the sages said and what Krishna himself says, you know. So it was all based on that, you know. It's not just because he was his friend. And actually we used to so many different words, you know, which are very important actually, like Vedic injunction said that the Kena Upanishad and the Mundak Upanishad, everything Prabhupada actually explained very nicely. Vedas also says, and all the sages accept it. So that's a great thing. It's a good thing to learn.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Mother Sojan. Good.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Sarveshwar Shri Baba. In 17th shloka, when you mentioned how we have to connect the material things to Krishna, I felt that was like a very nice takeaway. Like, you know, very simple thing. When my kids ask me, what's your favorite color? I said, all colors are created by Krishna. How can we see? That's my current answer, not the previous answer. I just heard this in some other lecture. And then I had heard in another lecture that when you see mango fruit is so, everybody loves mango. But then immediately if we get a thing, see what a beautiful creation by Krishna. Then like that, every little thing, the material things, if we connect with Krishna, you get that some, I can't explain
explain the satisfaction, how you feel when you connect it. So when you were saying that 17th shloka, I was like, oh, I felt happy that that was already told in Bhagavad Gita naturally. But when I came aware of it, I felt very happy and satisfying.
Wonderful. That's very nice.
Thank you, Prabhu.
That's very nice. So we'll end here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Just one
Hare
point.
Krishna, Mother Syamala.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, as Mataji said, I remember when I see the Niagara Falls, immediately I try to recollect like how Krishna's beautiful creation was. When I see that, immediately I remember that. And one more thing, that the Mangalarti which you mentioned, so the way that why we are doing that, incense sticks and the ghee lamp, so that is really new. It's just today only I'm hearing like this. Mangalarti has such a meaning of that. So it is so wonderful. Thank you so much. And I really want to hear from you about the Mangalarti importance. Whenever, if it is possible, not here, but at least I would like to invite you for a congregation, at least for this Mangalarti class. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
me
you.
too,
You all
Prabhuji.
you all can bless me because I have a class in 10 minutes to another group, and we are going to talk about the Haridas Thakur pass away and the death, how it's relevant to us. So please bless me and pray for me so I can say something to them. Thank you so much. Please accept my humble obeisances. Pancha kalpatarubhasya
Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Anantakari
Anta
Vaishnava
Kotti
Vrinda
Vaishnava
ki
Vrinda ki
jai,
jai,
Srila
Srila Prabhupada
Prabhupada
ki
ki
jai.
jai,
Jai.
Gaur
Thank you so much,
Pramanande Hari.
Prabhuji, for wonderful session. Hare Krishna.
Jai.